أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقولهم إنا قتلنا المسيح عيسى ابن مريم رسول الله وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم وإن الذين اختلفوا فيه لفي شك منه ما لهم به من علم إلا اتباع الظن وما قتلوه يقينا بل رفعه الله إليه وكان الله عزيزا حكيما.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So I thank you very much. Another question is coming from United Kingdom. That is Miss Mary Lee Phillips, who asked me questions about the crucifixion of Jesus. So I thank you very much. I thank you for your question. You are most welcome. Thank you very much for your question, which you call me. I welcome you. I welcome you as my sister, as a sister in religions, and would be pleased to answer you to any question in respect. So, we see that you have asked me a question about the crucifixion, and we in the Jamaat Sahih Islam's, that is, before shifting our gaze to the factor relating to Christ and his crucifixion, perhaps it would not be out of place to mention here. So, in brief, what happened during and after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ? This issue will be briefly touched upon here, and a detailed discussion will follow later. So we in the Jamaat Sahih Islam, and as a founder of the Jamaat Sahih Islam and as a messenger of God in this era, we believe that the crucifixion of Jesus was an attempt made on his life, like any attempt murder. Crucifixion was only the weapon used in that murderous attempt. However, the attempt to crucify him failed in inflicting death. This is tantamount to saying that they failed to crucify him. When we say this, we express ourselves exactly as we would in any other case of attempted murder. If an attempt is made on someone's life and the attempt fails, it cannot be said that the intended victim was murdered. For instance, if such an attempt is made with a sword and the attempt fails, no one can say that the intended victim was put to the sword. So we believe, as Sahih al-Islam, that only an attempt to murder Jesus was made, crucifixion being the instrument of the attempt murder. After a few hours of intense sufferings upon the cross, before death could overtake him, he was taken down from the cross in a state of deep coma, from which he was revived later on. As no state can permit a person who is condemned to death a legal cover and protection to his life if he somehow escapes execution, so also under the Roman law, no immunity could be extended to Jesus beyond the point of the crucifixion. That provided Jesus with enough cause to escape from Roman territory to a land of freedom. But he also had to perform a commission and had a prophecy to fulfill. There were those lost sheep of Israel, who after their exodus under the Babylonian and Roman invasion, scattered in many stern lands, were awaiting his ministry. This was the other very strong reason for Jesus to have immigrated from the land of Judea to those foreign lands where the Jews had settled over a period of many centuries. This much should suffice for the time being. I want to make one thing clear to those who demand from us a proof of the natural death of Jesus after he was saved from the cross. They are shifting the burden of truth on us without justification. So there are natural phenomena known to men which are universally understood. We know that the lifespan of man on earth does not extend beyond 150 years or so, certainly not 1,000 years or more. This is a common experience in relating to the span of human life on earth. If someone thinks that something contradictory to this rule has happened, then the burden of proof would fall on his shoulders, not on someone who believes in the rule rather than the exception. This should be applied to the situation enveloping the lives and death of Jesus Christ. Those who believe that he did not die must provide the proof But those who claim that he must have died only follow the laws of nature and should not be required to prove it beyond that. Otherwise, anyone could say that his grandfather has not died. If such a claimant goes around challenging everyone to prove it otherwise, what would be their reaction? How can a poor discerner meet such a challenge? Yet he can only point out that the Jews of nature operate on every human being and spare no one. So if someone is making claims against the law of nature, the onus of proof is on him. This is the first answer, but I will now make another humble attempt to try to make things clearer from a different viewpoint. Whatever his relationship with God, was it beyond Jesus Christ to die? The Christians themselves believe that he died. If it was against his nature to die, this could not have happened in the first place. Yet we all agree that he died at the least once. The remaining part of the enquiry would be as to when did he die, whether on the cross or afterwards. So we go to the Bible, the sign of Jonah. We prove from the Bible that God did not abandon him and save him from the ignoble death upon the cross. This can be studied in the light of the facts relating to the period before the crucifixion, as well as the fact of the crucifixion itself and after it, as related by the New Testament. Long before that incident, Jesus promised that no sign would be shown unto the people other than the sign of Jonah. Then some of the Pharisees and teachers of the law said to him, "Teacher, we want to see a miraculous sign from you." He answered, "A wicked and adulterous generation asks for a miraculous sign, but none will be given it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a huge fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will stand up at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and not one greater than Jonah is here. This we can find in the Bible, Matthew chapter 12, verses I think is 38 to 41, like this. But it found the Bible. So before we determine what happened to Jesus, we must understand what happened to Jonah, to Prophet Jonah. Because Jesus claimed that the same miracle would be repeated. What was the sign of Jonah? Did he die in the belly of the fish? And was he later on the revived from death? there is unanimity among all Christians, Jews, and Muslim scholars that Jonah did not die in the belly of the fish. He precariously hung between life and death and was miraculously saved from that situation, while any other person in his place would have died. Yet some subtle law of nature under the divine commandment of the divine command must have conspired together to save him from death. Remember, we are not debating the issue of that being possible or not. We are only pointing out that Jesus, when he pointed out that the like of what happened to Jonah would also happen to him. He could only have meant that what everybody understands to have occurred in the case of Jonah would occur in his case. No one in the entire world of Judaism, whether in the land of Judea or anywhere else as the Jews, had dispersed and settled, would have received a different message from this claim of Jesus. They all believed that Jonah miraculously or otherwise survived for 3 days and nights in the belly of the fish and did not die in that period for a single moment. Of course, we have our own reservation regarding this issue. Of course, the story of Jonah has told to us in the Quran, the Holy Quran, does not mention anywhere that it was for 3 days and nights that Jonah suffered his trials in the belly of the fish. However, we return to the case in point and try to bring to light the actual similarities which were predicted by Jesus Christ between Jonah and himself. Those similarities spoke clearly of spending 3 days and nights in extremely precarious circumstances and a miraculous revival from near death, and not of coming back to life from death. The same Jesus claimed would happen in his case. I thank you for your question. May God open your mind and you can understand this very clearly. Thank you very much.